Before the video starts, I would just like to mention that a whopping 74% of the people who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, I'd really appreciate a sub. It's totally up to you, but it would really help me out. Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and welcome back to a brand new video, everyone, where in today's video, I am going to be telling the story of my very first Golem Tower run ever. I'm pretty sure we're all very familiar with the iconic tower itself, as you literally spawn in there when starting the tutorial to face Malster and his minions. Yeah, I'm reasonably sure you know what I'm talking about if you're watching this video right now. But anyways, it goes without saying that this dungeon used to be quite difficult for newer players. Like, very difficult. Because if you do remember, in the earlier days of Wiz, players just simply had worse gear, worse pets, and worse spells to work with overall. Like, us players back then, at the very beginning of the game, didn't get some, special kind of wand with a 1-pip healing card or anything like that. So, really, we weren't working with very much. And players, they also had way less knowledge regarding the game back then as well. And, most likely didn't know the proper strategies to implement into their playing of the game so that they could be as successful as possible. Or at least I definitely had no idea how to play the game, but regardless, people did tend to struggle a little bit more back then as opposed to now. And might I just say, I was definitely one of those people. When I attempted motherfucking Golem Tower for the first time, I had no idea the kind of harrowing experience that lied in wait for me at the time. And oh boy, did I truly end up having a harrowing experience. I mean, let me just say right off the bat that my gear was utterly dog shit. And I mean, it was really, really bad. And, you might be asking me, well, Phantom, obviously your gear isn't going to be that good, right, if your level 5 or level 10 ass decides to undertake the Grand Golem Tower, because gear just simply isn't that good at lower levels. And while you might be right about that, me as a kid had almost zero idea of how important it really was to pump up all of your stats. And even if you're not pumping them up by that much, it's still good to, kind of pay attention to how the gear that you have equipped is feeding into all of your stats and the overall strength of your character, right? And yeah, little Phantom had, well, little to no idea about that during the time, which really didn't help his case. And while my gear at the time still wouldn't have had a huge effect on my ability to solo, it certainly didn't help that, hadn't yet realized the importance of gear and what it can do for your wizard, so, I mean, that was just a problem right off the bat. So, already not the best start, right? Already not the best start with young Phantom taking this dungeon on. Well, hold on now, because it gets exponentially worse. So, Phantom, as a child, also didn't have much knowledge regarding, strategy in Wiz, as his thought process just kinda amounted to him, simply seeing a card that he thought was cool and then clicking it onto the enemy, and that's probably not the best way to go about strategizing in this game. If you guys didn't already know, sometimes it's pretty beneficial to actually think before you cast a spell. I know, who would have thought, really? To make sure you're actually doing the right amount of damage to the enemy, whether or not you want to risk casting a spell for fear of fizzling, and so on and so forth. But nope, young Phantom thought he had it all under control when he fizzled his Thunder Snake against a Golem minion, when he had a perfectly good imp in the very same hand. That's basically the stuff that I'm talking about. Just lots of really, really stupid mistakes that eventually amalgamated into my untimely demise at Golem Tower. And, to make it even worse, younger Phantom didn't even know how to use rank 2 and up spells. That's right, back then, I had absolutely no fucking idea how to use the fancy schmancy spells that did more damage and had a bigger number on the cover of the card. You know, that's obviously signifying what rank the spell is and how many pips it takes to cast said spell, but yeah, no. I had no idea back then that it was literally as simple as passing and waiting a turn to get an extra pip in order to cast those higher ranking spells that would have, in all honesty, probably made the whole experience a lot better and the dungeon itself immensely easier. But, I mean, if you could not have already guessed by now, Phantom likes to do things the much harder way, or at least young Phantom did. And you know what the best part about it was, though? I had no idea during the time that I was doing anything wrong at all. I really thought that I was playing the game exactly how KI intended for it to be played. And I was really mad about the fact that despite making choices and doing things that were the, of course, 100% right thing to do all the time, right, in my little kid's mind, I still couldn't manage to beat this fucking tower. And it really pissed me off. And for those of you who don't know, I low-key had anger issues as a child and pretty much threw a tantrum every time I died in the tower, because actually I'm not sure nowadays if the tower works the same as it used to, but you at least used to not be able to continue from where you left off, like most dungeons, as Golem Tower didn't have a sigil, and, you know, there was no recall system at the time. I mean, think about it. We're talking about, like, primitive Wiz here. So, if you died to the big baby bitch Iron Golem at the very top of the tower, you had to restart from the very beginning. And it's safe to say that it was a very painful process for little old me. And yes, I did die at the final boss multiple times before. Man, seriously, just don't ask me why it was so hard for me to defeat a measly 150 health boss as a level 5 wizard. Like, I know in theory it's not that bad, but all these things combined with just my general stupidity as a kid really contributed to my downfall with this dungeon, to say the least. But, I mean, do you truly know how painful it is for the golems to laugh at you for going into the tower for your 27th fucking run straight, only to be met with just a failure, and then another, and then another, and so on. I actually have distinct memories of my parents just walking into the computer room and asking what was wrong, because I was just... I mean, I was angrily screaming at the computer in a violent fit of rage. You know, Phantom, just the destroyer of worlds. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that, like, might have worked to provoke some sort of reaction out of them. But, yeah, I want you to have an idea of kind of the depth of my anger and frustration that was pointed towards this dungeon. Like, I would literally have to take computer breaks because I could not handle when the pixels on my screen didn't do what I wanted them to do. It's kind of sad, to be honest, but then again, I was like 6 or 7, so I don't know, maybe that's at least somewhat normal. But yeah, I really cared about this game quite a bit back then, and I really wanted nothing more than to just finish Regina's stupid quest and move on with my life, but I couldn't. Well, okay, I eventually did complete, you know, the dungeon, but not without an unreasonable amount of attempts taking place beforehand. Like, I'm just saying, there was probably a better way to go about it, but I digress. Anyways, though, I really hope you guys enjoyed this short little video. And if you did, you could always leave a like on it. I told you guys to subscribe in the beginning, I'm pretty sure, so, you know, obviously I'm not going to do that again, but yeah, leaving a like and all that stuff would very much help me out, and I really would appreciate it. Also, let me know if you guys do indeed like these, you know, kind of scripted story time, short form Wiz videos as kind of the more, you know, raw Wiz videos that I usually post on my channel. As I really enjoyed making the last one, you know, just the one where I described how I originally got into Wiz, basically. Like, I kind of just did that same thing and made this video in kind of the same way as I made that one, and you guys seem to really enjoy that video, so yeah, just let me know if you kind of like this style of things, and yeah, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. But anyways, that is about all the time I have for this video, so I'll be seeing you guys later. Once again, I hope you all did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone, and peace out.